Buenas evenings, mi gente. I just wanted to come on here to say, hey, what's up? Hello. Welcome to episode 2 of the After Dark Feel Good podcast. My name is Lisa and I am your host. And before we get started, I wanted to start today's show with a positive affirmation. And it says, sometimes outgrowing yourself means feeling unsure, lost, and out of place. It means letting go of everything that you once were in order to grow, in order to move to who you're truly meant to be. If you're not changing, then you're not growing. Even though there might be moments of uncertainty, you will look back and know that the path that you are on was made for you. Every experience, even the painful ones, painful memories, all of that happened so that you can become who you are truly meant to be. You are now transforming into the person that you were always meant to be. That I had barely scratched the surface. You know, I told you there was a moment in my life that completely fell apart. A moment that I lost everything that I thought defined me. And I I'm sorry. I'm having a little trouble this episode. I have been dreading to film this episode, and it's because it was a moment that I had to decide, do I stay or do I go? And and the answer that I almost gave almost cost me everything. Tonight, I'm going to keep my promise. This is After Dark Feel Good, where darkness becomes clarity. No pedimos permiso para sanar. We don't ask permission to heal. First, I wanted to say thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the love and the support that you've showed me on episode 1. The messages, the shares, the people who sent it to somebody, the DMs, the calls, the texts. I am truly, truly appreciative. Thank you so much. I am truly, truly humble. And, you know, to the people who forwarded it on to somebody that they were worried about, you guys really, really showed me that this was needed, and this show was needed. Um, and this space was needed. All the love and the support that I've received and the letters, on the website, I truly, I just, there's no words that I can say other than thank you. And I see you. Te veo. I see you. Thank you so much. Tonight, I am going to be going a bit deeper, and I'm not gonna fucking dress it up. Now, before we go any further, I need to say the same thing that I'll say at the start of every episode. And that is that this is not a formality. This is me taking care of you. I just wanted to advise you that tonight's episode is explicit. Um, there's strong language and there are heavy topics, including grief, depression, abuse, addiction, and a night that I almost didn't make it. And if you are in a hard place right now, before I say another word, I want you to know that you are not alone and there are resources out there to assist you. The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, you can call or text, and that number is 988. And that number you can text day or night. Or if you are in a situation where you need assistance, the domestic violence hotline number is 1-800-799-7233. Or you can text START to 88788. And if you are in a true emergency right now and you need immediate assistance, please call your emergency services or call 911. And hear me on this and every episode, the same words that I'm going to repeat. I am not a therapist. I am definitely not up here selling pain for content. I am a survivor with a real life experience with a mic. And I want to be very, very clear about something. I am not up here selling my pain for content. I don't put my life up here for clicks. I am sharing my story because I know that there's somebody else out there that they need to know that they are not alone. I've heard so many stories from men and women who have not only lived it. This show is not a replacement for therapy or professional care. Okay, this is going to be so hard to talk about. So let me take you back to 2002. In 2002, I lost a baby. I still grieve that every day. And here's what nobody tells you about a loss like that. People don't treat it like a real loss. They don't send flowers. They don't, because a lot of the times you don't even tell anybody you're pregnant. It's a subject that's really not spoken about. Because women deal with so much guilt. People try to move on fast, so they don't have to deal with your emotions. But I want to say this to anybody who's watching. If you're carrying something like this, and you're carrying it quietly, especially right now, you're not alone. You're allowed to feel, and You're allowed to express, and you're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to grieve someone you never met. Then, in 2003, the next year, I had my son, the baby that I prayed for. After 2002, after the miscarriage, after I lost the first one, I begged for him. I begged for him. I love that kid so much. And here he is in my hands. My prayers were answered. And I'm sitting I'm sitting in that I'm sitting in an office with my newborn at his first checkup. You know, the first one where they have to go and do, I think, the blood work or whatever. And I'm sitting there and I've got tears in my eyes and tears running down my face. And because I'm looking at my son and I'm thinking about the other one. I'm sitting here thinking, what if, what if it was like this? What if he was like this? What if he was so perfect? What if the little boy that I lost, what did his face look like? Looking at his little hands and his little feet and thinking, is this what it would have looked like? And does he look like the baby that I'm holding now? And I'm thinking, I am holding the one that God gave me. I'm grieving the one I didn't get. At the same time, I was so in love with this little boy. I was so in love with him. And I had this love of, like, he's mine. He's mine. Nobody can take that away. I'm in my same body in a waiting room at my son's checkup. And the doctor comes in and says, "Hi, how are you doing?" And sees me crying. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I was, I I remember being at the time when I was like, I don't know why I'm crying. And The doctor comes in and says, "Oh, you have the baby blues. It should go away in a couple weeks. Don't worry about that." So I sat with that and I'm sitting there like, the baby blues? Like it's weather or a season. Like it's a mood. Like it'll be over by Thursday. Like, like it's something out of a nursery. A nursery rhyme. And and here's the thing. The doctor saw me. A trained doctor looked at me directly in my eyes, at a woman who's bawling with a newborn in her hand, in her arms. And he handed me a cute little phrase. Baby blues. It'll pass. And I believed because he was the trained professional. He was the doctor. And he had the coat on. So I went home and it didn't go away. The feeling never passed by. That depression stayed with me. It stayed with me undiagnosed for years. For years. Here's what I know now that I wish I would have known then. And that was not the baby blues. The baby blues is 2 weeks. Baby blues is crying at a commercial. Baby blues. Baby blues don't take 6 years of your life. What I had was depression, a real clinical, diagnosable, treatable depression with grief for a child that I never got to hold. We named him Miguel. Depression. Nobody gave me that word. You can't ask for help for something that's not diagnosed, that doesn't have a name. You can't tell your insurance company, I have the baby blues. And I'm seeing something as I say this out loud right now in this chair. That's been a pattern my entire life. When you're an adult, you're supposed to be able to trust. And then that person takes advantage of their position, the power that they hold over a kid. No one hands you a word for that either. Nobody handed me one. Nobody gave me a word for that either. Then in 2003, the word I got was baby blues. Every single time somebody handed me something smaller than the truth, and every single time I looked at the gap between, I decided that the gap was my fault, that I was overreacting, that I was too much, that I was a problem. I wasn't too much. I was underinformed by everybody. So, what do you do when you're in that much pain? Nobody names it. You find ways to numb yourself. That could be alcohol. Just, there's so many different things that people can get addicted on. And I'm going to tell you the honest version, the one that people won't say out loud. And, for a while it worked. It worked. Numb. Nobody starts numbing themselves because they want to be addicts or they have nothing to do. You start numbing yourself for a little while. And the things that have been screaming at you since you were a little girl, a kid, shuts up. All the noise, it shuts up. And my mind is not constantly racing. You like the feeling of being numb. So you continue to do it till you can't. The people that were around me during those years, the friends that I thought were my friends, the friends that I would do anything for. And the truth is that they weren't my friends. They were friends of my numbness. They were people that helped me forget. They loved who I was when I was so far gone, so numb that when I truly did show up as myself, it's almost like there was nothing there for them. When I stopped going to the bars, when I stopped drinking, when I stopped doing all the things that I was doing to myself, there was nothing there. When I was me. And then in 2006, my daughter was born. And that little girl, I swear to God, I remember holding her. And even when I was pregnant, all I kept thinking was, gosh, I hope she's not a tomboy. That's all I kept thinking was, I hope she's not a tomboy. That little girl came out so opposite than a tomboy. I have pictures of her. She'll probably get pissed off. Actually, I'm not going to even say anything. Anyway, I had my daughter in 2006, and Serenity, I love you so much. And I'm here whenever you're ready. Um, all I can say is I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not being the person you needed me to be. So, anyway, in 2009, my first marriage ended. I was in that marriage since I was 17. When it ended, it took what was left of me. And getting married young and having babies and buying a house, and I thought that's what you were supposed to do. Just push through. And then when it ended, that was the first time I told myself I couldn't do this anymore. I'll never forget that day, that dark place. I just remember being there. The first person I called was my cousin Shy. I remember her staying on the phone with me. And from then on, I realized she has been there for me through everything in my life, thick and thin. She's my cousin who became my sister. And she never judged me. She never fought with me. She's the only person who's never left in my life. Shy means so much to me. She never believed what anybody said about me. No one. She was that person. She's been my person. She was in my phone. One call away. When I called her, I was very embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. That's it. That's the whole reason. That's the entire thing. Being told that I'm the problem. Everybody I've ever known was already saying it. Which is why I was the black sheep. Which is why I was outcasted. Everybody I've ever known saying I was a problem. I didn't want her to see me like that. So I'm sorry, Shy. And I love you. And I'll always be here for you. And kids. I love you guys so much. So, in the dark, by myself, with my phone in my hand. And if you're sitting in the dark, wherever you are tonight, you have a person too. And maybe you don't think that you would do, but you do. Somebody who'll pick up the phone anytime. Somebody who believed that I wasn't a problem. Somebody who never believed that that was who I was. Somebody who'll never believe that was the worst version of you. And the thing that's standing between you and your person is that call. You're not alone. There's no shame. Make the call. You're not alone. So I stayed because some small stubborn part of me, the part that already had survived everything up until that point, wasn't done. And all I could think about was that little boy. And I look at my son and my daughter. Staying just means that I live long enough to eventually get the word that I've been denied my whole life. Long enough to find spirituality. Long enough to find myself. Long enough to be sitting in this chair talking to you. That is what staying brought me. Not this perfect life. This one. The one I have right now. This is where the 3 C's stop being a nice little slogan and it became the actual map out to take the chance. That night, the chance was picking up that phone. Whatever your version of that is, it's scary to take the chance. I chose to stay. You chose too. Spirituality, faith, boundaries, a different life. Take the chance. Make the choice to incorporate that change. Now, I want to talk about New Life Centers for a second because they're the reason that a night like my 2009 moment doesn't have to be somebody else's whole story. New Life Centers is our official community partner. New Life Centers is an Arizona shelter for survivors of domestic and sexual violence. They are the people who pick up when someone finally makes the call that I was too ashamed to make. And 5% of the proceeds for this Stay You Matter bundle capsule goes to New Life Centers. So when you're repping the brand, you're putting real support behind somebody who was in the same exact place that I was in. And if tonight meant something to you and you want to help keep this space alive, everything lives at official AfterDark FeelGood.com. The merch, you can go on there, leave a tip, you can leave a donation. You can also subscribe to the membership. The merch is there, the affirmations, all of it. Again, no pressure, but again, or you can also go monthly and become part of the reason this stays completely authentic and completely real and honest. And it stays my story to tell. There's 3 different levels. It's the spark, the candle, and I believe the lantern. And there's different tiers on there that you can also go ahead and subscribe to. It just gives you a little bit more personal behind the scenes footage, some personal footage of me. And yeah, you get some more access directly to me. So, again, there's no pressure at all. Everything goes towards the production of the show. So, again, there's no pressure. Just know that it's there. Also, before I go, if you took one thing from tonight, let it be this: be embarrassed and make the call anyway. You matter. And if today's episode was hard on you, I apologize. But I see you. And this is where darkness becomes clarity. Even on the night when you can't feel it. This is After Dark Feel Good. I will see you in the next episode.